I hope it's good. Ollie, you sound a little scared.
I'm nervous, and I don't get nervous.
You know, I think it's funny you say that. I think after the loss NIP had last week, I don't think they're ever going to lose a game of Rainbow Six again.
Why?
They're back. They're literally.
You genuinely think they're back?
Literally, it's going to be the year 2087, and Cons is 85 years old.
5 seconds remaining.
Not going to lose. Not going to happen.
I don't know. We'll have to see when we get into things. At least they're starting off on the defense tonight. We've seen a little bit of Clubhouse earlier on. I don't mind a Clubhouse. I know that it really doesn't sound like one of Laxton's favorites.
Let's say so less than Bank,
something.
better than Skyscraper. Like
for me, personal tier list.
Yeah.
Oh, it's top 3.
Okay, so below Bank, what do we say though?
Yeah. Bank's like 1, Labs, and then
talk about a good map.
yeah, and maybe Club, honestly.
Okay.
I feel like it's above like Chalet and stuff like that for me.
See, Chalet's a personal favorite of mine, but I'm not going to disagree with Clubhouse being above Chalet. That's perfectly acceptable.
It's historically a map that NIP have loved as well. Like, not necessarily this roster and this iteration, but it speaks to some of the core values that have lingered on throughout that team. See how they approach it here tonight. w7m starting off on the attack. Dots very speedily moving through strip. Wizard actually going to drop off there and just sort of play the hatch a little bit. Even that Moto hatch open, and with this classic extension that we often see on Clubhouse Basement, the castle mute combination, does give the players a lot of room to work with, and some very nice routes back down to the site as well. You can see there are multiple players on that top floor. Wizard for a time is just going to be chilling it out in the site. Fancy. A very thorough approach to make sure that no one has snuck in through those main stairs. As we can see, w7m, they're kind of dragging their feet a little bit.
And despite the presence of the Nook and the Blackbeard, taking quite a bit of time to make progress. We still have it. Hates and Pino up top. Hates even getting the first pick. Picking off Lobin, just creeping about. Both roamers getting the 2 opening frags. Talk about puzzling rounds. Really perplexed at how w7m have made so little progress. C4 over top, caught on the ceiling. And so very quick trade, and despite the lost bodies, w7m equalize immediately, and Hates tail tucked between his legs. He sprints back down to the site. But a lot of the damage has been done. 4 Kiva barriers, by the way. And Hates in the late round creating a fortress inside a church, blocking off the Moto door, and still with 1 to spare. Gonna be a difficult prospect for w7m getting these final 3 kills because the defuse plant's not happening. So will Cons give it up? Will any of these defenders give it up? There's the first. Volp's aiming to put the diffuser down. Paulu's able to find one, but there's just too much to soak up his attention, and NIP take the first.
You know, when teams roam on Clubhouse Basement, there's kind of like an unwritten rule of when you recognize that that's happened and you've already got things like Moto hatch open, you know that you've bought yourself a little bit of time back in the round at some point, because that is now no longer something that you need to do. The counter to that is that you've got to spend the time searching out the roamers, and as a defender, that's the balance that you're trying to strike, making it worthwhile to roam versus and leaving the hatch open, for example, versus just closing the hatch and hoping that the attackers take longer than you would have been able to roam for. NIP did a really good job of roaming there, so much so that we saw players using C4s on the top floor like, they don't care. If the win condition has been met at that point. The w7m just starved themselves of time. And they never really took advantage of the fact that they could move quite quickly in the early portion of the round. There wasn't a very succinct roam clear. Yeah, they got the kill, but it took them a heck of a long time to do it. I think w7m could have been a little bit sharper there, but we will forgive them because it was the first round of the match. And although we may be jaded through teams showing a little bit of a carefree attitude on the attack. W7m aren't. They've not played 3 games yet today. They may have played 1, they may have had a scrim, but this is their official for the day. So let's see how they approach round number 2. It is going to be a different site, CCTV room and cache. There are a lot of tools available for them. They're not going to choose to bring the Capitao, which is an interesting one, but they will have the Monty, so you would expect some sort of presence over inside of Garage. And you've got, of course, the Zephyr to try and assist that somewhat.
Breach open, basically within 30 seconds to start. Don't need to worry too much. Seen a lot of players just camping in front of this gym window today. Every single side of Clubhouse we've seen. This might be the first time that that player really runs into some issues. Dots, who's a little bit into Jacuzzi, by himself, by the way. Defenders outnumber the Montaigne on this side of the map. Drone goes in, Hates shoots it. This should theoretically shield Pino's position, yet he'll fall off anyway. Trying their best to waste some time. Also find that clutch drone ideally. I think NIP'd be happy with the time wasted on this side of the map, and maybe Hates would have wished he'd fallen back with his team. You know, regroup a little bit. Reassert control of the bedroom, but he too would be wise to start pulling back. Fancy thinking about using a Kiba to facilitate this retreat.
Fancy's there for him as well to get back. He really just needs to get himself back to site. Oh, narrowly getting away. Palu just not managing to land that final shot onto Wizard. Wizard dies there. This round is all but said and done. Con's going to go for a really lengthy rotate at the moment. We've seen these not work out already tonight as well. Brilliant angle from Volbs. Pino, he might have made his way back to site, but he hasn't found any safety. w7m slowly but surely just picking this defense apart. Already a Monty knocking on that cache door.
That's the last Kiba for Fancy too, so once this is broken, the at least immediate entry into cache will be secure for NIP. Gotta worry about the guns trained on their position, but the intel's there on the Azami. Dodes makes good of it. Dots pushes deeper. Playing with Diffuser can always be a little risky in this situation, but the intel is good. We can all agree on that. And so being so deep, Dots will start planting. Volp's good on the cover. There we go. Flawless round for w7m. Bouncing back from round 1, not leaving a single thing to chance.
It's a relief to see a really well-orchestrated attack on the side of Clubhouse Cache CCTV. Little attention paid toward Garage. I don't think we even saw an attacker step foot. It was entirely construction-sided. And it was a brilliant display of how to use that Monty to just bully players around. Fancy was quite literally shoved into a crossfire, and there was nothing that he could do about it. w7m got that opening pick and just snowballed with it. And let's be honest, they kept it very simple. Use the Monty, have the crossfires, cut defenders off as they're trying to rotate through either the site or back to the site, and keep things extremely simple. They got the breach open super quickly. Obviously, double denial ban, Cade Bandit removed, you're going to be getting that breach open. But the fact that they got it done so quickly, it just frees everything else up for the rest of the round. Brilliant stuff from w7m, and exactly what we expect to see of a team of this caliber. Now they're going to do it again. Gym and bedroom. Similar approach, but a little bit different. You will likely mount a push over in that cache and CCTV side and move through construction, as construction is a great layer of the defense between that bedroom side and the cache side, and often is a source of a lot of conflict, depending on how long teams want to try and wait inside of cache and CCTV. Hates, at the moment, he's keeping it cool. He's in the freezer.
That's
Could
freezing.
be going for a run out, but that door isn't prepped at all.
Don't need to be prepped when you got an impact grenade. All right, well, ideally we'd like to see a little bit more of the shots hit than that, but that's okay. These things happen sometimes. Hates will be kicking himself a little bit. Hopefully not be too harsh on himself. Still gym bedroom defense. And we know, he doesn't, but we know that he's safe to go back. w7m after that, I suppose, very brief engagement, will continue opening Jacuzzi wall. Made soft by the X-Kairos, opened up by the Skeleton Key. Got the Selma charges to open up Plat Wall as well. About as standard a start of a gym bedroom attack, or at least a gym bedroom full clear, as you would hope. The real wrinkle is where we're going to see dots push up. Will it be in through the breach? Will it be up through red? A lot of resources, especially with this deployable shield. So w7m likely need to invest a little bit more before pushing in.
Fancy is the player to remove right now. And the shield on the top of these cache stairs is a very powerful position, especially with all the util that he's got. Now, Lobin will be below, so he can do something about the cache player. There's not a lot that he can do about Fancy. That job is firmly going to be in the hands of the Blitz and the Grim. Where we've spoken about w7m making good use of their time, in this round at least, squandering it a little bit. It's a bit of a deadlock. Ooh. Great frag from Fancy. Takes Dodes down. And there's nothing that Blitz can do. Oh, brilliant kill! Dots goes for the unshield and is punished immediately.
Oh,
Fancy's one of the best fraggers in this league. He's so mechanical. You can't give him those sort of chances.
We have been treated to some really, really well-placed shots by Fancy. That definitely ranks among the higher level. Some of the ones we've seen. Flawless for flawless. Rounds exchanged between the two, but NIP retake their lead as a consequence. Taking the dub here on gym and bedroom. They'll go back down to basement and church. I said that I think w7m needed to invest a little bit more on red stairs, and Ollie, I think that was quite a prescient turn of phrase.
Yeah. They needed to invest something, didn't they? Because at the point where you're investing a Blitz versus a Warden, have you really invested? Like, have you gone hard enough there, or have you just put someone with a shield and a pistol in a fight where he needs a bit more? I would have liked to have seen a Capital. I would have liked to have seen a Ying. I mean, Ying's banned, but anything else to try and dislodge him there. Yeah, you just need a little bit more. Flores drone, delete the shield, nades, whatever you need to do. You can't allow him to play there with that much surety. And if you're going to do it, at least push him together and get a trade. Don't just go one by one.
Speaking of going for the trades and pushing in one by one, could not describe FaZe's attacks on this site earlier today. Big 3-2-1s that we saw from FaZe constantly assaulting Blue, Moto, the whole site generally. Not really what we saw from w7m. A lot of problems were posed on the roam by NIP. They struggled with them, you know, and I want to say it was Hates both getting kills, and even though w7m fought back, so much time was wasted that converting onto the site was a very difficult proposition. We have the castle again, though it's changed hands. A lot of the same operators, though some of them have changed hands. Still seems to be that NIP will try to go for a roam of some sorts on basement. Here's hoping that w7m have a better way of dealing with it than last time.
Strange, isn't it? Because we've seen a really well put together attack from w7m in round number 2, and then everything else has just left us wanting quite a lot more, to be honest with you. If they've got an inkling that this roam's happening again, which they should do, it's not difficult to spot a castle in the prep phase, not difficult to hear those barricades going up. You should be expecting of that. Ace has got a good position at the moment, just to the top of cache stairs. A lot of half-court pressure as well. Cons just hanging around at that midpoint on main. Hoping to catch someone just being a little bit careless. Dots has already committed into strip, so it's not as if he's going to be used as the brunt to clear this roam. And in his position with a pistol, is he the best person to catch players off as they rotate back? Possibly not. So we kind of might just get caught out here for a little while the rest of the team catches up in doing their jobs. Lobin has managed to take control upstairs in bedroom and can look to drone through a little bit further. These mute jammers are really slowing things down, and Hates is still playing at the top of these cache stairs. That's a lion scan that really isn't going to give any info over to w7m.
Kind of the same spot he was before, by the way. Like, sure, the operators have shifted, but for the purposes of what we're seeing right now from NIP, it's all about the same. I mean, even down to the intel denial, I mean, sure, there's a Mozzie plus a mute, but w7m struggled with only one of those ops last time. Palu's at least in a good spot for the cutoff. But if Hates wanted to, he could just walk all the way through main stairs and go for a flank on the opposite side. He doesn't really have the intel to do that, but I think he's got the inkling at least, and he's got the time to make it work. So you can see the calculations running in his head. On is clear. I hear nothing by bedroom. Teammates are likely calling that the vert's being made and that with 40 seconds remaining, the execute is drawing near. So even though Palu is stationed in one spot for the cutoff, what do W7M have to stop that flank, and what damage have they done to the site to ensure that the attack forthcoming will be successful? It is a two-man dirt push right now, and part of that push has fallen. Loban will swing around, take down the roamer, but the actual thrust, the actual bulk of W7M, it's fallen. They're all trying to pick up the pieces. Dodaz with one in sight, another around the corner as his teammate pushes up main. The kills are going their way. As close as it is, it's still Ninjas in Pyjamas. Stringing together 2 in a row, but looking much the better this first half.
Even though the flank was impactless, it was still perfect because it wasted so much time. W7M were left in a position where they never really knew what was clear and what wasn't. And as such, they couldn't fully commit to the push because we had Loban, who was not baiting, but kind of baiting it out a little bit, hoping that if a player does come down those main stairs, he's ready to get the kill. But that also removes him from the fight on the site. And then when you're sending your teammates in, even at an equal 4 versus 4 attacking down into Church and Arsenal, it's not going to be straightforward. It isn't going to be easy, especially when you're coming from very well defended and telegraphed positions like Dirt, for example. If someone gets killed through Dirt, they really oughtn't be getting another one. You can hold horrible 90-degree angles to that thing, and you've really got to make somebody swing and work for a frag. And that's exactly what NIP did. They weren't pressed. There wasn't a lot of utility usage in that round either, to be honest with you. I'm really confused about the Lion pick. I know that there were mute jammers up there, but I think a Dokkaebi would have worked a lot better because at least you would have got the call. You would have got a little bit of audio to say, yep, someone's still up here, instead of just leaving a drone. When in a 5 versus 5, who's got time to be on the flank drones? Nobody. Everyone's got a job to be doing. Even if you're watching the flank, you're actively watching it with gun up because you can't afford to not be. So there can be a flank drone there all at once, but if there's still 5 people alive, it can still be really beneficial for the roamer because he knows no one's going to be watching it, or the chance of someone on it is extremely low.
Just one example of what so far has been a very consistently strong NIP performance. Only site that worked for W7M was CCTV. It's one we go back to now. Based on the progress they made, or the momentum they have, I feel quite high on NIP. The big adjustment, I guess 2 big adjustments actually, will be bringing the magnets in conjunction with the ADSs. So, in a very year 1 fashion, it's the not a year 1, that's just not correct. Year 5 fashion. Holding garage with the ADSs and magnets as the Kivas are banned. Also bringing the mirror windows. This is like, maybe not with the Goyo, but Ollie, this is really like 2020 like one style of CCTV defense we're looking at right now from NIP.
Ooh, big opener.
Not a great start. How do you get that?
It's weird, isn't it, that this is the lineup that's been brought this time, as in the Jaeger and the Wamai, and yet this is the time we get the Capital. Whereas if there had been a Capital brought in round number 2, it would have been really easy. Now, W7M still won this round, and it was in part due to the good and quick progress that they made over on this construction side.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, just want to point out, Hates was the first to fall in that round too, roaming in the exact same spot he was roaming this time. Now, obviously, I just, pointed out that NIP could do the same thing again and it would work out, like running back that basement roam. But that position from Hates very much did not work out previously. And he died 40 seconds earlier here than he did there. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Ooh, Dots. Just getting away with it there. C4 ripped and ready, prepped to send over the construction wall. There is 1 Selma left and a couple of tin openers, so there are a couple of goes at getting this open. Ooh, that was shot mid-air. That breach is firmly getting open, but there's still nothing to deal with that mirror window. We're going to need something to come in through that cache, oh, sorry, CCTV stair side of things, those red stairs right behind Fancy right now. The adaptation from NIP is to play the mirror window and to not get bullied in the site as hard as they did back in round number 2. w7m need to find an answer for that. Oh, main breach isn't open either.
That's what I was gonna say. If somebody wanted to, they could crouch across that mirror window and they would be fine. The Monty pushing deeper, but with a little less support. Loban still finding these kills, finding 2 of them, in fact. He's been down in the process, but this gives Dots the kind of chaos he needs to close this out. Plenty of opportunity to put the defuse plan down as well. And not much for Pino to do with that C4 gone. It's much closer affair for w7m, I think, on the second go around. Yet still one successful. CCTV going their way both times. Now they'll look to Jim to decide whether it's a tie game or an NIP half.
I love that. Nah, I'm not going to pick you up. I'll just get the final kill instead. No worries whatsoever. w7m did such a great job. I think NIP's adaptation there in playing the mirror window top of cache was brilliant, and playing a little bit deeper and behind it. I can't remember if there was a mirror window there in round 2. There may have been, but no one was playing behind it. So the fact that that's where Fancy was playing was enough to me to indicate, yeah, they didn't want to play inside of cache. They didn't want to get bullied the same way and fall victim to those crossfires. But where that all sort of falls down is when w7m just say, okay, if that's happening, that's fine. We just need to flood. And the Monty can still do the bullying, still do the flooding. And as long as people are there to pick up the kills like they were, good pressure coming in through, I think someone must have hopped in through CC window.
So
either that or garage control was gained.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if it was like hopping through CC window or just holding CC window, but somewhere on that side.
It was a much better attack from w7m. And equally, you know, it throws other rounds into even more frustration when you see that they're capable of doing that. And you're like, we know that you're good at Clubhouse, and we know that you can attack more than just CCTV room and cache. Like, you've just got to do it.
Especially Jim Bedroom taking so long. I mean, first pick not coming with, what, 25 seconds left? Barely making any progress. w7m are good enough. I mean, all these rounds, aside from the flawlesses, have been close. That one being the exception. Or that last one also being an exception.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Like, this can be a very close game. When it has been, it's been w7m losing and then getting a bunch of kills on both basement rounds in particular. So we know they can do it. We know they have the gun skill to bail themselves out, and it's just not even getting far enough along that the gun skill can be sufficient. Even if the strategy before that was not. Start here, they'll create a little bit of hard breaching over on the jacuzzi side. Then rotate over. Leave it to Palu with the super shorty to open up. Before was the ex-Kairos. Open at the top of the wall, but obviously that's been banned by the attack. w7m doing the standard stuff for Jim Bedroom attack to start. Paying attention to all the 3 important exterior breaches. And before, it was then sending the blitz up red to try and pinch out those defenders, and that did not work whatsoever. Need to see a little more forethought, a little more effort put in before we see that push.
I think although that w7m are doing a fairly efficient job right now of making sure that that Maverick blowtorch is being used, be careful, please, Loban. It is still taking quite a good portion of time, and time hasn't been kind to them when they've been attacking into this gym and bedroom. Volts could be framing up for a bit of a drop here, but I'm not sure if he's got the info to really back this up. I'm trying to send out a little bit of util, but that Vulcan pack is going to burn for a good 20 seconds, so time now to hop into the drone and see what's happening. Ooh, great find there. Hates. You can't tuck there, my friend. You've got to keep yourself a little bit safer than that. You're only behind the soft.
Every single time w7m have found an opening pick, it's been onto Hates. He's really been trying to make these plays work, and w7m have just ate him alive every single time. There's a very clear weak point in this defensive aggression, and it is Hates. It is what is keeping w7m competitive in every round they won. It's been an opening pick onto him. They get more control of Logi. Cons does look to retake as the blitz falls. So it's not a slam dunk for w7m. Only becomes more so once Dodes falls after. But the opening is being given on one particular element of NIP's roster, and then it's incumbent upon the rest to hold fast and hold NIP do. Pino with 2 quick kills, and Palu with 3 to find. Can't even confirm the one he's down. Can find one, but the other is tucked deep inside of Logi. And so NIP emerge from round 6 as the victors of the first half.
You know it's serious if Paolo isn't confirming a kill that's downed. Loves a KD, that guy. Fighting for the round against all odds. NIP coming away 4 rounds to 2 after that first phase. The rounds where w7m looked good, they looked great. But make no mistake, NIP, they made them look like a different tier of team on some of those sites. Put themselves in a brilliant position now. Caden and Monty removed. Probably double hard breach, maybe a double denial, maybe another hard breach. Oh, we're actually going to target the shields quite heavily here. NIP have a full wealth of hard breach to work with. And only the blitz if they should choose it. I think w7m will look a little bit more comfortable on the defense. But I don't think that we can ignore the fact that that first phase really didn't go their way. We're looking at this w7m team and expecting them to, you know, drop out of that. It was called a bit of a honeymoon phase on the desk, wasn't it? And I don't know if that's true, if that is over. But there's definitely something a little bit missing with them at the moment. NIP on the flip side, they're going to be feeling super comfy. They have a 70% win percentage on the attack. They've kind of hit those numbers. Now they've just got to convert, make these attacking rounds really count.
We're ready for company.
10 seconds remaining.
Fortify the wall. Reload! Market is up.
5
Still have a roam to contend with. First time out the gate. I mean, we got bear mats on gym and bedroom window on a basement defense. We got a Scopos.
Listen, there's no such thing as a bad one.
I'm not saying it was a bad one. I'm using it to convey the extent of the roam. Tell me the last time you've seen a frost on basement.
It's not the most common pick, is it?
No, it's not. That's kind of understating it a little. I think you could be.
The thing is, knowing you, you'll pull this out of your brain right now of like, well, the last time that it happened was 2023 or something like that, because like you just pull some really random stuff out sometimes, and I'm like, where is that kept in your head? Like, how have you got room for that?
I sadly do not know when the last time Frost was played on a basement defense. That'd have been great though. I would have been MVP of the day if I'd pulled that out. Sadly, I don't have a Jesse J Chick spreadsheet. Just like scour through. I can tell you this though. Last time I saw a shield used on a basement full clear was 3 rounds ago, and it was w7m doing it. Not a big pull for that one, at least for my recollection. But both times it went, w7m never really found a lot of momentum, not a lot of purchase on these roamers, and it seems that NIP might meet the same fate. They're a lot more focused in contesting than the w7m, where w7m kind of just kept to the half clear, whereas Cons, he's moved all the way across from Jacuzzi to the bottom floor. Yet the Scopos is teleported back, the Azami's rotated down. Minute and 45 seconds spent and little to nothing gained.
I was going to say, especially with players then just going out of windows. Ooh, Lobin chances his arm at one there on Cons, puts a good portion of damage in, and Cons actually goes looking for this.
Oh,
Cons needs to be really
Cons.
careful. You're 1 bullet away. Like, where's your team? Not another. Surely not another. Oh, it's another. Okay.
How about number
Super
3?
shorty at close range. Nade comes through. Eventually put in the dirt. Well, there's 45 seconds left. And you've lost your Hibana.
Now you've lost Fancy, your other hard breacher. There's a guy ratting in kitchen. Oh no, w7m are giving him the business. Nade caught on the door. Wizard will shut dots down. We've lost 3 players, both hard breachers. The shield, half our HP for Pino, 2/3 of our HP for Wizard. With only 20 seconds left, w7m would have to be paid off to lose this round. And I just don't think NIP have the funds. Player spotted behind the Kiva. That's a fight Volp should be winning every day of the week. And the second We'll give him that one, too. Gap narrowed by 1 round as W7M effortlessly repel NIP.
I'm not even sure what that was. We saw a full clear, great. And then we saw players just outside. Like, I don't know why they all went outside after they'd cleared everything. Like, surely that's the time to start working the advantage and moving through the map. But it was like, no, the most important, it was like someone, I've got a thought, it's coming to me. The most important place to go is strip door. Yeah, that's where we need to be. That's where we're going to see success. And Lobin's just, yeah, no worries.
I know for a fact it's a saying that existed before it, but it's just what I remember it from. There's a line in Andor during the second arc where Val, if you don't know, they're doing a little bit of like a heist, trying to blow up a convoy, and instructing kind of the new revolutionaries. She goes, slower is faster. What it means is, like, if you take time to do something right, it'll be faster than just rushing to do it and making mistakes. Obviously, let's just ignore the first half of the round. I think that is a good example of that. If Cons had just waited to get other teammates in position, it would have likely been a faster and more successful product than just barreling in. Because then at that point, the rest of the team is trying to get involved in a very haphazard fashion. Cons dies, so you lose the blitz. If you had just waited 10 seconds, I'm not even saying you win the round, but at least it's more successful. At least it's more timely. Because then you just have this... That was close. Because then you just have this weird situation where nobody's on the same page. Next round anyway. CCTV. Yoda is trying to find a one-tap on Platwall. I respect his effort. Will not be successful, yet I respect it nonetheless.
What are NIP going to use to deal with the catwalk player? They've got drone information.
Power
Great,
of
we know
love.
where he is. Well, yeah, like... Fancy down. Lose a lion? Not a big loss. I suppose you lose the DMR. That's more problematic. Selma's getting tricked on the breach. No hard breaches ban, by the way, and still a lack of want to bring, in my opinion, sufficient hard breaches for this site. I don't think the ace alone cuts it.
Hey, Bandit Band, no Therm?
Yeah, I think you need ace plus, you know? Ace plus a tin opener or something. Notice is willing to replace these keybers at a moment's notice. I mean, he may as well just wait a bit of the clock out here, because as soon as he gets it sent out there, it's going to start getting popped anyway, but maybe even able to try and find an angle here. Con's in a brilliant position, but he's relying on somebody making a mistake right now.
Also a good spot to throw nades up if he wants to. There's no magnets. Could bank one off the rafters, maybe land it up top. There we go. Air jab out. The pressures, I'm still worried, is a little too haphazard. Dodes hits the prone, though. Committing so far to the right side, he's just eventually, by the utility and the gunfire, isolated in that position, finished off. Good work by NIP. Takes a long time, but now you can see the plan flowing. Diffuser rotating over to garage. They can start moving up the rafters. With no smoke on the board, there's no firm denial to throw over top aside from these two C4s. If you can shoot one and evade the other, you're feeling quite nice, but as Das is likely just shown, the only people looking at Lounge are in garage. If you're able to maybe work or creep your way down, you could get a C4 from below. Instead, Palu, I think, looking to hop out of con window and throw it through CC. They find Dots. There he goes. Out goes Palu. C4 in hander with the gun. Sends it out. Lands right at Hates' feet. Brilliant strategy as the diffuser stopped cold. NIP still have the kills. Volp still has that C4. Can he send it over top? Find the time. It goes, and it goes wide. Walks right into the air jab, and Palu left with little time, no information, and no room to breathe. Takes a long time to get going, but once NIP gets set up, they move in, burn the utility, and close out their first attack.
Mark of a good team as well, being able to get those attacking rounds over the line when, let's be honest, it didn't look favorable for a good portion of time. And the round seemed to last forever. But NIP used that time very well. Nothing was too much trouble, and they really didn't rush into anything. Took a lot of time and a lot of careful consideration. It was a brilliant bit of team play to dislodge the player inside of rafters. And as soon as that condition was met, people were ready to start taking advantage. We had cons hanging out at the bottom of oil pit ladder, ready to run up and start to affect in through garage. Early attempt at the plank going down to bait out a little bit of utility, baited out the run out from Parlu.
Attackers have
I thought that
located the bomb.
W7M's fortunes would shift quite significantly since getting onto the defense, but it really doesn't seem to be the case. NIP only 1 round away from a map point, 2 rounds away from locking up the game.
10 seconds remaining.
In a game that's, as has been described on the desk, potentially a 6-point fixture, just given where these two teams are likely to end up come the end of the stage.
Attackers are moving to
W7M
bomb.
don't want to be looking back on this, kicking themselves that they didn't give it a little bit more in the moment.
Also just a nice game for NIP to show that they really are brutally competitive with the rest of SAL. Lost to Furia, one of the big teams. Beat Black Dragons, who are a little bit iffy at the moment. Win over W7M would be great for the reputation, great for the narrative, great for their overall stock. Gym Bedroom, a good enough place as any to do it. A lot of strong utility in their way. The combination of the Black Mirrors and the Kivas can really prove to be problematic. Palu with that utility station, likely over by Bathroom and Logi. And Dodez, I mean, could be over on the cash side, but could easily take Loben's spot and make NIP's life a living hell once they try to push Jim. Impact unfortunately misses, and so full Selma breach opened on the Jacuzzi wall. Smoke's going out as well. So much utility and focus being paid by NIP to open up this bathroom position early.
Better from NIP as well, because they've brought sufficient heart breach this time. They've got the Selmas, they've also got the Hibana, they've got that little bit of redundancy and that option to just get a bit more open. You can already see that being put to use right now, because that's been threaded through cash. And it's going to start to open up that cash wall. Bolts. He doesn't really want to stick around and find out. Happy to retreat back. Talk about this layered approach of defense. Transitions through construction into Logi. Wizard can now start to move through and make good. He's got some Bs that he's going to be able to send through as well. And, well, where better to put them than inside of Logi? You know, it's a very high likelihood that someone is going to be tucked in there behind the reinforced wall. W7M slowly but surely getting constricted to the site. There's only really Dots that's off-site at the moment, and even he's just sort of halfway up main stairs. Not really a position that's going to hold too much strength. Of course, he could drop and use the C4 at a later point. Default cam is still up, so that is still an option at this moment in time. 35 seconds and 10 players alive. Definitely going to be a pretty messy end to round number 9.
Wizard dumps the full of his utility inside of logistics. Khan's also pushing in. It's driven Volps out entirely, yet nobody's fallen. Dot's ready for the push by Fancy. It's all far too telegraphed for NIP. Wizard able to pick another. Oh, that's a nice little shot, but just everything falling to pieces. NIP taking too long and showing too much of their hand as W7M sit lying in wait, licking their chops.
I think for W7M, you've kind of just got to wait for it to happen in that position. Sometimes as a defender, it goes back to what we were saying in the Consulate game only a couple of, 20, 30 minutes ago. It's better to wait and let the attackers aggress onto you, especially when time's low and they're left to make less than ideal decisions, than it is to be the aggressor. W7M showed just the power of that there. Number 10, do you see the Thermite ban? A little bit weird because we've not seen any Thermite from NIP.
Which I would like to see some Thermite from NIP.
Which would have been great, let's be honest. I think that's something that we've both been asking for. His army ban, no real surprise there. Bar and stage, so as mentioned, great map. Every site viable, and you will see all of them played on the odd occasion. Now, it isn't every day that we get to see bar and stage. Let's not beat around that bush, but it's a viable site, and W7M feel comfortable going here now. Typically, what I like to see for this site is a lot more information. I think an Echo or a Maestro can be brilliant additions. Looking at this lineup, you've only really got the BP in Dodez, which, let's be honest, isn't going to be that effective. It's not like you've got loads of things to flick. You're just going to have to place that somewhere and hope that it's good. You have also got Lobin with the Skopos shield, but again, that's not really used for that purpose. That's more of a moving around and transportation device than it is as a camera and for information. So it's kind of strange lineup in my opinion for W7M, but they've still got the good old Castle Mute and a heavy roam composition, so it looks like they're going to try and waste a lot of time here, which, let's be honest, NIP sometimes have struggled with.
Yes. NIP's biggest issue has always been struggling with either a 5v5 or when they aren't able to make that initial incursion. It's when plan A doesn't work that NIP have historically struggled. Pivot, really, really difficult. So if W7M can just continue disrupting, continue denying, NIP will be in a really tricky spot. I think 5 opening picks in a row for W7M is kind of evidence of that. It's not like they've won every single round, but they've won the majority of them. It's where most of this comeback has started. If they can do the same here, it's not a guarantee, far from it, but it will increase their odds quite substantially. IP doing the initial look. Nobody in gym. Nobody on that top floor, oddly enough, except... Oh, excuse me. Outline's betraying me. 3 people on the top floor. There are some in bedroom, but they're all around the center, not near the extremities of CCTV or jacuzzi.
You can almost feel that this has thrown NIP for a little bit of a loop, in that it's taken them quite a lot of time to do anything. We've seen slow rounds before on Clubhouse tonight. It's nothing new. But this just feels like not too much has happened so far. Wizard, send some bees in. Please don't drop off the back of that. It is not safe. Dodes gives the game away maybe a little bit too early. I kind of got the feeling that Wizard was going to drop that. He needs to stop challenging onto it, though, because Dodes has definitely got a more favorable angle at the moment. Despite Wizard having the high ground, he is going to walk away just about half HP and see if he can find an alternate angle. But I think it just goes to show that NIP really are getting thrown a little bit here. They're just going to try and push the site.
Seems it might be what they try to do. What countermeasures do NIP have? Fancy put low, waiting for the denial. There's Volps finally. He's playing lounge since the beginning of the round. Just rotates into stock, looks through a pre-made hole, and initial defuse plant denied. Wizard downed as well. Not sure if Fantasy's even looking to get this plant. He's basically one of the only ones left. Palu making some good efforts, but the plant actually goes down successfully. Hates catches Dodes on the fall off, but with both attackers quite low. I just don't think Hates is coming away with this one. I think he's going for a lengthy rotation, by the way. I think we just saw him rappel up top. Yeah, all the way upstairs. But what a play he's making here. X-Kairos on the floor to try to get this vertical angle. It's revealed his position, and he's downed himself with the X-Kairos. On bar and stage, W7M tie the game.
I knew it was too good to be true. I knew this game was going too smoothly. We had to have something, didn't we? Down by... I mean, that just speaks to how low he actually was, by the way.
That's crazy.
I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone down themselves to their own X-Kairos pellets like that. I mean, it's very seldom that you see X-Kairos pellets being used to open vert anyway. It is not ideal. Oftentimes, you're better off just dumping a mag into the floor. Plant position, not great either. That's because the plant had already been attempted once and Fancy was just desperately trying to do anything to make it happen. There was a moment where I saw Volp sort of tussling with his own castle barricade, and it just felt a little, in the nicest possible way, it felt a little bit Ranks-esque when you've just got a rogue castle on your team that just starts placing them down anywhere. And in that moment in particular, it was a little bit of a hindrance for him, and he would have maybe liked to have the opportunity to peek around that door, but instead, he still managed to get the job done, and it is just a minor frustration. W7M, the offsite, really paying dividends for him there, and NIP looking very uncertain as to how to deal with it. And I guess that shows a lack of depth. You've got to be able to deal with every site, regardless of whether it's top pick, bottom pick, whatever. There's a chance the defenders are going to play it. And if they do, you need to be ready. NIP were far from ready there in round number 10.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Frankly, today has really just featured in one game, at least some real struggles performance-wise from one team involved.
10 seconds to go.
In this case, it's become NIP in the back half of this game,
5 seconds left. before
struggling to form solutions in the face of whatever W7M throw at them. Now, as they go back to CCTV, only sight NIP1. While Fancy went down first, and it did take a long time to get set up. By and large, off the back of... Hey, wait, I'm trying to remember that round. CCTV attack. I can't...
Changing max.
I can't remember what happened that round. My brain is turned to mush.
Palu did the little rotate outside of construction.
Oh yeah, I remember now. There we go. Thank you, Ollie. It was a garage push. We've had like we played so much Clubhouse today. It feels like I know we played 2, but
It's the second time I played it.
okay. Well, we've only had 4 games. It's two games. That was 11 rounds earlier, and it's 11 rounds now. That's 22 rounds on one map. Get off me. What are you doing?
As my friend would say, setting up a sequential breach.
Thank you for bailing me out. It's a full clear from NIP. You saw a bit of pressure here, or a bit of presence here by W7M earlier. Big shock. Dot's still there. Hates played the spot quite a lot by NIP. But I have to say, this investment by W7M rivals anything NIP did. 3 players around bedroom and logistics. It's burning time and utility. And it seems NIP actually might buy into this. Might take the bait.
It's another example of you don't always have to attack where your defenders or where your opponent have set up to be strongest. If this is what you're coming up against, there is more often than not a better way. That's a better way. Grabbing a pick onto Vaults. Pino going to take first blood here in this round. And it looks as though NIP are sort of rocking with that mantra of, well, we're not going to attack you where you're strongest. We're not going to attack where you've set up. We're now going to force you to rotate back.
Here
and
we
they've given
go.
themselves a huge opening right now.
They finally spot the hollowness of the site. Cons walks up red, completely stabs the defense in the back, and have stolen the site out from the noses of the very defense that built it. Flashes to stave off the swing. Palu a long ways away from the rotation. Spots Cons' feet. Actually will force the blitz off the defuse. Puts a lot of damage onto Wizard as well. Just unfortunate the rest of his team could not stand up to muster. Match point for NIP as it takes a long time to run those calculations. Once they see the situation in front of them, make the right rotate. Put us just 1 round away from regulation.
Brilliant play from NIP. And you know what? I don't think that you can fault it one bit. Like, with our view and what we can see, it looks like it took them a while. And I think that sometimes we can take for granted that we expect these players to know everything just because they've got a couple of drones. When in reality, I don't think it could have been timed much better.
To locate and defuse bombs.
The pick from Pino onto Volts was obviously the big trigger. Then recognizing that, hey, there's a bit of presence over here inside of gym and bedroom. Should we just try and cut this in half?
Location of a bomb.
Brilliant play. Really good opportunity spotting, fantastic gap spotting, and it's put NIP onto a map point right now.
Activating jammer.
Can they convert it? Going to be attacking into gym and bedroom. Of course, we have seen them attack over here previously, and to be honest, it left us wanting a little bit more.
10 seconds
Round number
before
9.
insertion.
Loading new mag.
I think the opening pick came very late on, if memory serves. It was a round where everyone stayed alive for a heck of a long period of time, and W7M didn't need to aggress, so they didn't. They just let NIP walk into their sort of power positions. And with the lineups that NIP are rocking, they're not really rocking like your big beachhead operators. Glaz, Ying, Capital, like, that's not really their style. There was also the small matter of a particular cash shield that caused W7M themselves quite a lot of problem. It seems that Dodez has taken it up on himself to be that pain this time for NIP.
There's 20 seconds, by the way. You mentioned opening kill happening late on this site last time. 20 seconds left. when Dot's got an angle on Fancy. All based around a logistics push that just took far too long to manifest, but it was the worst part where you knew it was coming, but it took a long time, so W7M were just already waiting for it for about half the round at that point. Here it's a bit of the inverse. At least when it comes to the side of the map. Not with how these things start, though. Might be Volps with the first on Apino, different set of players, but like that gym bedroom before, like so many rounds this series, W7M getting that first pick, and now they just back off. They know how much NIP have been struggling, how much they have found difficulty in putting the pieces together, especially in a disadvantage. There's no reason you need to contest cash. NIP probably going to stumble over themselves if the past few rounds are anything to be considered precedent.
I still think it's crazy that they drop off at a minute 30. NIP don't have too much information right now. Got a drone in basement and a drone on stage. You can see Pino flicking them at the bottom left of your screen right now. They have taken him through cash and into CCTV. I don't think anyone knows about Volps. They will now. Knowing the player that Volps is, I still wouldn't be surprised if he comes away from this with a kill. You can see he's planting his feet. He's not wanting to leave. He's going to find himself one. He's got support from Dodes as well. This attack might not get past construction.
Oh my god. Not if Volps has anything to say about it. It's all about the ego for him at this point. Ace very likely. As if Dodes just lets that attacker slip by, the person who will make first contact could very well be our mute. See the confidence. You can see how he's feeling that overtime will be guaranteed. Cons unfortunately shuts him down, but the damage is done. We have overtime, ladies and gentlemen, to decide who will come out the victors and what is the hottestly contested match of the day.
It's not always that we get that right either. And we have no
no,
say in it,
not
by the way,
really.
either.
It's just there when we show up.
Yeah, we don't really actually get to decide what the match of the day is going to be. Which is kind of a good thing, because I think we would pick weird and wonderful games occasionally. But a match of the day that delivers? Aren't we a lucky pair?
I think so.
Sticking on that attacking side. No surprise to see Gym and Bedroom chosen as the first choice here for W7M. NIP, it's been their worst attack by far in this series. And I don't see it being any more or less difficult than any of the other sides. It's not really like I think because of the clubhouse and the way that it is an old map in the pool and there's not a lot that's changed in it in a very long time, I genuinely believe that all the sites are fairly equal. And it's just really strange to me when you see one team that struggles in particular with one site when you see them do so well on the others.
Okay. Hold on. I get it's been a long day. All sites being about equal on this map.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
W7M won bar on stage. Like, the statistics speak for himself.
Just because they won it in this one matchup, it's still bar and stage. What are we talking about here?
All right, we'll exclude bar and stage then.
I still think CC.
Well, Gym and Bedroom is no more difficult than basement or CC to attack.
To attack?
Yeah.
I think Bedroom is more difficult than the other two.
I just find it funny how NIP struggle attacking this site in particular when is it really that much harder than attacking CC or attacking basement?
Okay, I see the point. I see the point you're getting at there. Especially as the Gym Bedroom attack procedurally is quite similar no matter what the defense is throwing at you. You're always going to pay attention to cash early. You're going to open up the plat wall. You're going to open up the jacuzzi wall, then the con wall. Then it's an evaluation. Okay, who's over there? Is it one guy? Is it two guys? Are they on red stairs? They in like con and cash? And then that kind of influences your decision. And W7M have had presence here basically every single time. Whether it's a shield on red or not, it's always been at least one guy cash and then looking to fall off somewhat quick. And they bring Fancy. Gonna forgive him for the barricade. But you have Fancy, who's trying to hunt down the guy on or inside of cash right now. and he gets focused on Palu instead, which, to be fair, Palu's roaming. That's perfectly fine. But it's still taken a minute 40 seconds to find the roamer that was arguably the most, the easiest target for NIP to find.
Well, an opening pick is an opening pick nonetheless. Palu down, left only to watch the cameras in this round. Volps has taken up his position in this matchup, just inside of construction next to the stack of lumber and the window. He was able to get 4 kills from this very spot, only 1 round to go. I don't think the NIP are going to give him the same room to work with this time, but they do need to be conscious of time. 35 seconds isn't a lot to work with right now. Dot's dug in, got some FNATs to play with. Notice is with him as well, ready to activate those goggles at a moment's notice. Sure, we've got a track onto Malusi. I'm not sure if he knows about the player at the bottom of main. He doesn't. Volps is all over the place. Last time we saw him was in construction. How's he got there?
Well, clearly quickly and uncontested. Yodes with a very quick 2-piece and another NIP stunner. Completely confused at the setup w7m are putting forth. And that's it. Lost on time. w7m moved to match point. Thank God CCTV cache exists, because if it did not, w7m would have won this game long ago.
Well, sides swapped and bans restored for what could be the final round here in map 4, day 3 of the SAL. w7m take a lead for the first time in what feels like a long time. There was a bit of a late resurgence from NIP in their attacks, but the crux of it is they were still only good for 2 in regulation, and they weren't able to convert in the overtime. It's been the attacks that have punished NIP here tonight. w7m themselves weren't the best attacking team on their phase. In 2-4 splits throughout. As we move now to what has without a doubt been the most popular map of the bomb site, should I say, of the night, in gym and bedroom. Again, another site that w7m did not win on their attacking phase.
10 seconds to insertion.
Now, previously when we saw them attack this, they were bringing the blitz. This time we've got dots on the Monty. I know often we'll talk about shields and we'll sort of bundle them into the same category, but I think there's a very clear distinction to be made on certain sites in certain situations between the Monty and the blitz.
That's true. I'll agree with that.
And I think in this instance, the main worry is that there's going to be that player on the top of cache stairs. But from the lineup that we're seeing, there's no deployable shield, there's no warden, there's nothing on that side of NIP that indicates that there is going to be a player on that cache side, which was quite a big problem, not only for w7m on their attacks, but for NIP on their own attacks. And it's weird to me to not see Fancy in that spot, given what he picked up 4 kills from it last time in one of the previous rounds on this very site. And I feel like Dots has picked up the Monty in response to that, because you can really just bear down on that player then.
Strategy we've seen be successful today. Hitting the Monty, walk up red, pressure those players. Garage this time for Dots. 3 players from NIP. 4 players actually, all kind of at least looking or conscious of this position. Fancy and Wizard directly holding it, one supporting from construction. w7m really have to be careful with how much they invest here, because if they make one wrong step, there's a lot of guns ready to capitalize off of any mistake made. Wizard's got the C4 to throw and detonate those Selmas, but opts to keep it in his pocket. Gives w7m a direct line of sight on this position, and yet him and Fancy both challenging as aggressively as they did before. Nobody from w7m, aside from this Monty, is applying that pressure. Dallas, I think, still learning those destructive ingredient locations as he loses half of his HP to the flaming pipe. How long will NIP stay here as the nade goes up? Fancy pushes down, fills the space in turn, finds nobody watching. Going for the full flank, working through garage. Dodes goes down, and maybe the round will be lost by the time he gets there. Looking to completely stab the attack in the back. while Wizard takes the attention. Nobody aware. They're not looking. Volps gives himself up. Fancy shoots Wizard in the back of the head. And now it does hang a little in the balance, because if Fancy pushes closer, he might end up falling. Thank God Hates is there to follow up onto Palu, because things are looking a little too close. Dot secures the kill. And very close to the wire we find ourselves. Ito and Hates slowly pulling back. Full HP, and Loban and Dots grasping at straws. Impact. There's one more lands. With Dots so low! Smokes Pino! Just one more, 10 seconds left. Hates got the impact. He tanks it. He's got the information. He's got him trapped in a corner, but who's gonna blink? Not when Hates is looking right in the eyes. All 15 required as Jim Bedroom is no attacker's friend. And how will W7M play that final gift on defense?
Tell you what, for the start of game that Hates had, he's just pulled off an absolute blinder there in what could have been the last round of this series. He has kept his team in it. I was critical, I'll be honest, of the play that we saw Fancy making, you know, not bringing the shield, not playing the Warden. It turns out I was wrong, which I'm happy to hold my hand up to. He had so much utility around there in that cash stairs side. He got Banshees at the bottom, he had Vulcan Packs at the top, a brilliant ability to deal with the Monty. It was fortunate that it was Monty and not Blitz that was played. I'm not sure if there was any sort of reason or understanding as to why that would be and what made Fenrir a better choice there. But Fancy pulled off a brilliant flank, and I mean, even though he only gets one kill, and of course the team kill, unfortunately, it would have been a far easier round for NIP if Fancy hadn't committed the team kill in and amongst the fray. But when you've got a Monty, you've just got to send those bullets down range and hope that they land favorably for you. In that case, it didn't, at least for Wizard. It was still a round that we saw Hates managing to salvage. And to be honest, for someone that's only got 5 kills, to get, what, 2 kills in that round? Massive performance to keep his team in it for this series. We move now to what will be the final round of the night. And unfortunately for W7M, as one-sided as Jim and Bedroom has been all evening, it's locked out. They've already won there in an OT, and they cannot go there again.
That'll be the standard basement defense. Running back that roam. Ran it all the way back in their first defense of their second half. Not the same lineup whatsoever. In fact, oh my goodness, Fantasy lucky as all hell that Loban's aim wavered for the briefest second, only putting him to 1 HP instead of in the dirt. Changes made to W7M's lineup without that Frost. Introduction of the Vigil. It's just a full realm, banking on this aggression, banking on putting the biggest obstacle in front of NIP as they possibly can. Pay some attention, use those X-Kairos, break the castle barricades. You can also see some of these defenders ready to fall back. With the damage dealt, with the time already wasted, W7M decide to play it safe. Fall back with more than half the round to go, hoping that NIP, who have now committed to the full clear, will waste time of their own accord.
It's quite a big risk to hope that that is enough. Wizard. Again, not looking to rush into too much. Just going to sit and flick some cams for the time being, ensure that no one has managed to slip the net. But still, convinced on clearing this top floor. Cons is really leaving no stone left unturned. Manages to find Skopos' shield, which, of course, is always a good thing. You don't want Dodez just rotating out at a later point. Ooh, speaking of rotating out, Palu. Brilliant pick onto Wizard. That's the bees gone. He can get back to the site with little to zero consequence right there. Hate's taking a good chunk of damage as well. Slowly but surely, NIP are just getting chunked down here. They're not even looking to try and affect onto the site just yet. They're still struggling to get kitchen hatch open. And we've only got 2 players that are full HP. Doesn't leave them in a great position. We always speak about teams at man disadvantages trying to attack this basement level. You just haven't got the guns to point in the right directions. Fancy a really tough job on his hands here.
Tough job indeed. Full utility being thrown at NIP, completely shut out as Palu with just 2 shots. That's the final nail indeed. Flawless to finish things off in our closest game of the day. W7M keep NIP out and maintain their stance at the top of the league.